Hello and welcome to this Maritime domain session as part of Building Smart International Summit, Singapore 2024. 2025. Thank you for joining. My name is Yushin and I will be your moderator today. Today's session is titled Maritime Domain Session 1. And the speakers for this session are Haijiang Li, professor at Cardiff University, Xiliu researcher and China Communication Construction Company, Renee Zelstar, digital lead at Royal Haskelley HDV. And this session is scheduled to last 90 minutes, including time for questions at the end. The session is being recorded and will be made available in the replay section of the event as soon as possible. Before I hand over to speakers, I would like to remind you that this is a hybrid event. For online attendees, your microphone will remain muted for the duration of this session. If you wish to make a comment or ask a question, please use the chat box in the control panel. For the attendees here in the room, please keep background noise to a minimum. If you wish to make a comment or ask a question, please raise your hand and use a microphone. I would also like to bring you attention that Building Smart is committed to ensure that participation in the development of standard is unrestricted and the process of their adoption is transparent. And the standards are developed do not favor any particular provider and are open, non-binding, and accessible to all. Please take a note of our antitrust code of conduct. Now I would like to hand over to Haijiang.
Thank you, Yushen, for your introduction. Is on?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Hope you all had a wonderful last night, evening. And we started with this maritime session. Okay. So there are three subsessions: the overall introduction for the maritime domain, and the two more ongoing projects. First one is immersed tunnel, and also the new start of port and waterway 2. We started with our team introduction. At the moment, we have 3 teams. So from CCCC, China Communication Construction Company, from Royal Haskelley, DHW, and also from myself from Cardiff University. As you can see, so we started with overview, then start to introduce different projects ongoing one by one. A little recap to begin with for this maritime domain, how it started. It was from Rome. At that time, we prepared for this domain. And then after the intensive discussion among different parties, we signed MOU in Beijing, while the leader team of buildingSMART visited Beijing headquarters of CCCC. At that time, CCCC, based on their expertise in maritime engineering, so we decided to focus on the maritime infrastructure. Hence, we defined the new domain. And the new domain actually following the routine setting. So we will have several parties from different companies, and together we are going to have 10 representatives for 3 or 4 different parties, and those people together as steering committee and to manage the entire maritime domain alongside with the ongoing projects. So we're also now in the process asking for more parties to join our maritime domain committee together to manage the committee for there. Within the maritime domain, we started with 2 things. One is charter, another one is a roadmap. Thanks for our neighbors' domains. So we refer to these existing domains. I noticed there are some changes for the fonts. Yeah. So it's fine. So I can continue. Yeah.
Otherwise, let's.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
just continue then, is it?
Let's.
Well, special, yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Yeah, it's quite complicated. We noticed some font changes. We try to fix it. If not, we just continue then. Okay. Okay, we use this way, is it? Okay, so we started with two things. One is charter. Another one is the roadmap. Okay, so yeah, this is better. Thank you, Ren. Yeah, as you can see, we take reference to those existing charters from our other domains. And then we concluded this fact, like lack of these shared standards, and there are some other features specifically to maritime domain, and they will put together and generated the roadmap and charter. And okay, yeah. Again, to the right, those are the more detailed explanation regarding the different perspectives. I'm trying to look at from the screen. Oh, thank you, Vijay. Yeah, I'm not sure whether you can read through the screen. Yes, perhaps next time we can prepare a larger font. As you can see, this includes different aspects. So tidal energy, wind energy, offshore structure, and literally anything related to maritime domain. We're also talking sea farming. That is our plan to cover most of those related area. And all of these contents has been through several rounds of review, and now is already officially published on the website. So if you're interested with more details, please go ahead to find out more. This is the second thing as maritime domain. We produce this roadmap. It is a live document, of course, and every roadmap they published will last for 3 years and focus on the to defining this IFC for the maritime sector, and also to apply open BIM workflow. This roadmap will be updated by the entire committee from maritime domain. As you can see, we have 3 years, 3 years there listed, and different year we're planning for different projects. So we're also asking for more new project ideas and come to the committee, and we then can discuss one by one and to progress further. This will also get published, approved, and published officially. So you can go to the website to find out more. And there's something new here. We are following new suggested workflow, replacing the original activity proposal to begin the project with the draft project plan and final project plan. So as you can see, the two process map are indicating the new draft project plan. So in order to start any new project, we have to go through these 2 stages. And the next change is about more focus on the BSDD alongside with IFC core development. So BSDD can bring us with very agile, quick updates, and then IFC core can be kept there for a little while longer. So that is buildingSMART, a core approach. And for this maritime domain and all the ongoing projects, we are going to follow the similar approach. Okay, so for the entire maritime domain, this is our vision. Our vision to action. We need to do something real, especially together with interested industry partner to develop standards at the same time to try to apply into the real project context by using the open beam workflow. So those are the next steps. We are going to implement the overall strategy, and also through this maritime domain, we will try to strengthen the international partnerships and continuously developing the maritime domain charter and roadmap to get more interested party engaged. We have a web page in the buildingSMART website. So we're calling for more parties. And at the moment, as originator, there are two. So Cardiff University and Royal Haskelley. And so we are now approaching more potential partners. So there are some potential partners recommended by Royal Haskelley. One of those are those motor Portugal company, and the rest development maybe goes to Rennie, if you can say a bit more about the potential partners.
Yeah, the specialist for the immersed tunnel project, we would like to have a global update of the of a global uptake of the outcome of the work, and therefore we would like to include in the team the full value chain. So that includes clients or asset owner organizations for immersed tunnels, and contractors we already have with CCC. We have a designer and university on board, but the asset owners are lacking at the moment. And preferably, we would like to have more parties from each sector in the team. So we are actively reaching out to in the network that we have for people to get on board and to develop with us for this important job.
Okay, thank you, Rennie. Okay, we continue to go to the project stage. So this is port and waterway stage 2. We used to deliver this in infrastructure domain, and then think now better to put together and to run through under one domain. So after a quite long period of preparation, we finished the port and waterway stage 1 a couple years ago, and then now we're trying to resume, and with the new project team and parties to start with. So as you can see, the motor from Portugal, China, COSCO is shaping a company. They're doing this port operation. And we also have some canal projects that's currently ongoing in China, southwest part. So they are the clients, and also they have entire project already started. So we are inviting them to get on board. And of course, Royal Haskelley as our original parties. So we are working together for this stage 2. For stage 2, there are 3 key expected outcomes. So first, to improve the existing IFC data structure, data exchange requirements for port and waterway that was developed in stage 1. So at this beginning stage, we're thinking more about BSDD for this part to extend the existing concept. And on top of that, we're also developing new scenarios, new user cases. So that is to further expand the application scenarios to cover the construction and operation stage, which are the lacking part from stage 1. Of course, also we get involved in another initiative that is a BEAM and GIS user group that they are developing across disciplinary application scenarios. So we as maritime domain are quite heavily involved. So we together develop several new user cases. So we are going to put them into here as project level to develop together. So this is the project committee structure, and we have buildingSMART standards committee at the top, and the sponsor is from China Communication Construction Company on the top right. And then underneath, we have the entire delivery team coordinated by myself. And then we have people from CCCC, the subsidiary company located in Wuhan. Short name is CITESI. And then we have several academia on board, 2 universities from China. And then we also have our Roy Haskellning on board. As you can see today, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 colleagues from Roy Haskellning joining us. And these are the details for those parties. So if you want to talk to them directly, maybe relevant to your interested user cases, talk to everyone directly. So before we actually get started to the actual technical contents, those are the things that we actually developed in stage 1. So there are 3 slides that we try to briefly review the content that we developed in stage 1. So our colleague Dan, maybe you can step in to be say a bit more. Yeah.
Yep, thank you, Haijing. I started involvement with Ports and Waterways project part 1 in the London Summit in 2017. The work we did at that time was to review typical contents of a maritime port development job. So running through the kinds of entities that would be required, spatial breakdown, hierarchy, that sort of thing, and then identify with a gap analysis where the gaps were in the existing IFC schema. So we followed through this process of identification of all the kind of objects, entities, property sets, spatial hierarchy that's applicable, and then developed a set of use cases. And it was apparent fairly early on that we would have more than we were able to fit within that project. So we did an exercise of prioritization, but also at that time, the bridge project and the common schema overall architecture project were ongoing. So we liaised with those to identify what sat more appropriately in those areas. And there is a significant amount of overlap. So some of the things more naturally fell out of the work that they were doing. And then we were left with a prioritized set of use cases that needed to be covered in the schema extension that we did, that formed part of 4.3. So at the end of the project, we contributed to the 4.3 schema extension with a number of new entities, spatial hierarchy, and some property sets to support the use cases that we'd identified. The work ongoing now for Ports and Waterways 2 is to pick up where that left off, to go back and review that work, which dates back to 2017. Look at the use cases, look at what was missed out from the previous project and what was still relevant, really, and then also identify emerging use cases and areas of interest.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan. Okay, yeah. So let's move to the new stage. And those are the 3 listed contents here. So first, to supplement and update the existing ones, thanks for the great support from our infrastructure domain that was originally helped with this port and harbor. We still would like to work with infrastructure domain very closely. This is part 1. And part 2 is about those in construction phase and operation phase. Those are the new scenarios that we are proposing now. So those are the initial work plan. It's about 2 years with project management throughout, and then also always with international consensus. We need to talk to our international expert or panels. And starting with work package 1, we follow the standard approach, requirement analysis, new scope requirements, IDS requirements, and then we move to the technical developments to develop taxonomies, meromonies, and properties to define these interconnections between different concepts. And when we move forward to model WP3, work package 3, to models and standards extensions to develop those process maps and focus on different use cases and to do the schema development. And then we also conclude the documentation guidelines throughout the way, and eventually to develop the different OpenBeam workflow, including IDS, BSDD, BCF, and apply that in the real project context. There would be 2 real projects to begin with, one from CCCC, another one from Roy Haskellning. We are going to explain in a minute. So we also need to do the testing and deployment at the end. So that's quite standard procedure that we follow those during the infrastructure domain period. Okay, and also one more thing I need to point it out here is the gap analysis. We need to understand what we have done and achieved in stage 1 and what would be the difference for the stage 2. That is our starting point. So we currently are doing this. And then, so these are the improvement for the existing scenarios. And this time, we are going focus on the high power design. So Mr. Huang is a senior engineer from CCCC. So he might be able to step in to talk about the 3 slides. Are you able to see that, Mr. Huang? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I am Gaoxin Huang from Vice Chief Engineer from CCCC Second Branch Overseas Department, and we will work together with Cardiff University to deliver the second stage development work for IFC ports and waterways. And the first work scope for the second stage will focus on the improvement of the previous work. Due to the priority and complexity of issues, we dropped some identified use cases in the first stage. In this second stage, we will select some of these use cases to improve current OpenBeam workflow for ports and waterways. Besides, we will also further enhance granularity of current IFC schema and enrich the property sets. Okay, next one. Here is a use case example: high-power RF collaborative design. We summarize a logical organization hierarchy with high granularity and a general map approach for the whole design process. Based on the above information, we set up 5 new information exchange galleries within the process of high-power RF collaborative design. The first one, soil investigation data foundation recommendations, power design feedback. Secondly, the hydrodynamic force impact analysis to optimize structural resilience. Thirdly, corrosion resistance materials suited for marine exposure. Firstly, validate alignment, depth, and construction accuracy. And the last one, real-world operational feedback for design optimizations. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Huang. Okay, and for this collaborative design focused use cases, that was something that we proposed in stage 1, but haven't been able to apply it thoroughly into real project context. So this time from CTASI, they are choosing this. This is because they are the design institute from CCCC. So they believe this collaborative design is still the very core for the new way of designing high power WRF, high power support. So we are going to apply this time into real project context along with real project delivery and using open beam workflow throughout, and to actually to fill the gaps between IFC fundamental standards alongside with BSDD, those agile standards updating, and use those into the actual project collaborative design. So let's hope we can find some exciting development filling the gaps. And then we move to the second stage, scope 2, that is construction phase. We haven't been able to do anything related to construction in stage 1. So this time we are developing and proposing several of those construction stage scenarios. So as you can see, the construction safety simulations is critical. While they developing these user cases, they focus on the different standards, regulations across different countries, and to do the simulations for the safety and to apply those safety regulations rules into the design process. Those is quite interesting, and also is quite demanded by industry. So this is the new scenario that we hope that can come up with consensus interest. And also operation stage is another one that we haven't been able to do it. So we are trying to do this structure health monitoring for those offshore structure, and or for port and harbor, including those different types of sensors. You know, we are going to collecting the real-time data from those sensors and to process those data, and then apply it to the decision about the health status for the existing infrastructure. And there are quite a lot techniques that is going to be included across hardware, software, construction process, and other visualization skills in this scope. The several more use cases from operation stage, from CTSI perspectives. They also talking about the different platform. They develop the digital twins. So digital twins is currently a very popular concept. They also apply this into their operation stage. So how to, across different stage of digital twins, also including the real-time data collections, and using this data information collected to actually feed into the real-time decisions. Those are the quite interested and quite demanding point for those specific type of ports, like petrol storage, chemical storage. For those ports, these are quite critical services that we're asking for. Also, we have intelligent vessel berthing management. So this is linking to the waterway management. It is also quite complicated, comprehensive decision-making process to collect information, to link that with schedules, and also linking to different management resources. Those are also quite critical for the waterways management. And yesterday, during the keynote speech, Miss Zhang Juan, she also mentioned that is AI service platform already developed in CCCC. They called Blue Journey, or similar thing, that is AI platform. Actually, they are trying also apply this AI service platform throughout their business, including the construction design, of course, and also the operation stage, using IT, using AI service to actually to monitor the port and to identify different potential implications and different vehicles, image processing, video processing, and feed that into the health and safety management of the ports. So this will be another very interesting and very demanded services. And this also directly linking to one of the new initiatives that we're currently working together with buildingSMART, which is linking to the open beam and AI. So we are trying to shape a new working group together with our potential partners. And this is a new initiative currently under discussion. So those are the final project plan. We already finished the project plan, and we have different stage, the 2 different stage of project draft and then final. All of this need to be accepted and approved by the committee. So we're trying to finish these projects and then to begin the next stage. So next phase plan, so that the different use cases and work process. So we are trying to work together with our industry partner to conclude more new scenarios, as we explained, including operation, construction, including the beam and the GIS interfacing new classes and scenarios. So this is the finishing our project 1, which is the port and waterway stage 2. So yeah, John, yeah.
Sorry,
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just here representing infrastructure domain.
Yeah.
And with respect, what you've shown is excellent. I'm personally very impressed by the progress you've made, but this is the first time we've heard that the project is no longer under our management. I'm just curious whether you've had who's made that decision. I'm not objecting to it personally, I must admit, because it seems like a good fit.
Yeah.
But we just haven't been told about it. And I just asked John Proctor whether he knew anything about it, and he didn't. So I'm just concerned that we need to get our ducks in a row and make sure that we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
We're certainly happy to support it, but we thought we were actually managing it. And if we're not, then we just need to know that.
Thank you, John. I think this is
Jim.
Jim. Sorry, Jim. Sorry. Yes, and thank you for your question. This is very critical. But for today, the presentation and is purely for the management, for the presentation, just to have a better and coherent presentation. But we haven't touched yet about the management of this IFC Port and Harbor 2. Yeah, so it hasn't been decided yet whether we're going to manage in the maritime domain or still with the infrastructure domain. So yes, if I didn't make that clear, so maybe you can clarify from this question.
Yeah, sure.
There will be ongoing
I got the
discussion.
impression that you had made that decision.
Yeah.
And I'm just making sure we are all on the same page.
Yeah, definitely.
And as I say, I'm speaking on behalf of my colleagues.
Yeah.
But we just haven't had news of this. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so I think we need to have some ongoing discussion to clarify this. Yeah.
And irrespective of who manages it, I'm sure we're speaking on behalf of my colleagues.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're keen to support you in any way we can.
Definitely. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. Okay, so if no more question, we can continue. Oh, yes. Okay. Tina, yeah, please.
Still here. if you can still hear, so I'll take this first.
Yes, I was looking for the scope, and there is many interesting topic like this as-built versus as-planned comparison. Then there is the handover, geotechnical design and analysis, and risk assessment, and these are pretty general type of. So I was thinking of maybe the cross-domain collaboration, or how you have thinking of the content of these use cases.
So those slides are actually an example of just the review of Ports and Waterways 1. And at the start, that's going back to 2017. So at the start, it was just an open brain dump of what constitutes a typical maritime job and all the stages that we go through, all the information exchanges and identification of those. And that's what that slide is. It's not saying that all those become use cases that we look at. So we were all quite new to the whole project thing at that time. We went through a process of identifying what we thought needed to be covered and where there might be gaps. And then we became more au fait with things like the common schema development and the IFC bridge in particular, and the large overlaps there. So lots of those use cases actually did go into those already, the geotechnics being one in point. So yes, agree completely. There is a lot of commonality, and in fact, those did go elsewhere.
Yes, if I may add some. Also, we have another project is we are going to present for the immersed tunnel. That is another project that need a very close collaboration between this maritime domain and infrastructure domain. As you may see, there are IFC tunnel there, but this is immersed tunnel. There is a close link with the existing IFC tunnel project there. So what have been already defined in IFC tunnel, and what would be the new and specific to immersed tunnel? So we actually planning to work very closely, no matter whether it is managed within infrastructure domain, but there's still very close links between these two. So even for the new scenarios that might directly come from infrastructure domain, and we can try it in the project level with the support from infrastructure domain as well. Yeah. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Jim. Yeah. Oh yes, of course, definitely. Yeah.
We can get a copy of the final report.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. We'll continue. So, for the second project, that is immersed tunnel. Oh, sorry. Okay, I didn't notice you. Yeah.
Pass your back.
Hello, Tarmo Savolainen from Finnish Transport Infrastructure Agency, and I know that our organization is part of the International Maritime Organization, IMO. And I've heard from my colleague that there is some initiative for researching BIM. Have you been in contact with IMO?
No.
Well, sort of, yeah.
Oh.
So IMO published, you might call it taxonomy, I guess, and that was something that was reviewed, but we haven't liaised with them directly, I guess. No.
Okay. I can ask my colleague what is the situation, maybe connect you.
That'd be very helpful.
When I go back to Finland. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Thank you. We should make some notes on that. You to contact too. Okay. Okay. So just in case, if you have any more questions. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for all your support. And we move forward to the project, immersed tunnel project. And this is a project already started from Valencia, if I remember correctly. So we have been through the first stage. The preliminary report requirements has been finalized and published. So those are the project team. So both for port and waterway, and also for the immersed tunnel projects, we are actually looking for a project manager through our community. So if anyone interested, so please contact us. We can sort out some details in terms of project management. Yeah. Those are the teams. And then those are the project aims. Similarly to IFC Port and Waterway Stage 2, these are the aims here. We're trying to develop IFC core standards alongside with IFC standards updating, which goes to BSDD. And also, fundamentally, we're trying to improve the interoperability among those different parties that's involved in the maritime domain. And to the right, these are the work packages. So I think it's quite small font again. You get the slides, so you can zoom in at the later. we're also following the similar type of work plans, starting with the requirement analysis, and then we generate the report, and we move to the taxonomy development, and then documentation, and then developing the OpenBeam workflow, IDS, BSTD, BCF, and also linking to the wider applications in terms of process management. We're trying to come up with some use cases to combine 19650 together with OpenBeam workflow. So all of these use cases will be defined into these projects. We started with 2 case projects. One is from CCCC, and this is quite a famous project they finished a couple of years ago. That is Zhuhai, Macau, and Hong Kong immersed tunnel. So the difficulties to construct this is tremendous. So once they finish it, really there is a need for CCCC to conclude and convert the experience, and then put that into these ISO standards for IFC. Hence, the part from these projects is quite critical, quite suitable for IFC core. We also have case project 2 that come from Roy Haskell. So I think Jordan will step in to explain a bit more. Oh, yeah. Janet, sorry. Okay, it's not Jordan. Okay, it's Janet. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So the second project we would like to use as a test case is the developing of a digital twin based on a BIM model for a renovation project in Amsterdam. Background is that many of the infrastructure in the Netherlands is aging, and therefore we are entering into big programs of renovation. So that goes for bridges and for tunnels. So one of those projects was a project in Amsterdam where we had to develop a BIM model out of old paper drawings and scanning and all that. So a BIM model was developed, and that principally was used to aid the design of the renovation. So in steps we added functionalities to that BIM model in order to get more functionality and to develop a sort of digital twin. So first steps was a virtual tunnel, so where we could virtually drive to the tunnel and optimize all sorts of details in the design. Placement of CCTV installations, that is part of modern tunnels these days. But more interesting was that the actual testing of all the equipment that went in, and even the training of the crew that is operating the tunnel on a daily basis was done based on the digital twin, and therefore could be run in parallel to the actual construction of the tunnel. And that led to a early commissioning of the tunnel months ahead of schedule because of this approach. So yeah, I think these are just examples of the power that we have in our hands with digital representation, and that is something we would like to bring into the standards. And obviously, this has actually nothing to do with an immersed tunnel. This could be any tunnel actually. So I think there's an obvious, a very obvious cooperation that we are seeking with the infrastructure domain. Especially when we're talking about the inside of the tunnel. And we need to do that gap analysis really thoroughly together, I guess, so that we are not copying or not redoing things that are already been developed, but really are looking to the specialties of some of the immersed tunnel aspects.
Thank you, René. Thank you. This is also a quite interesting project. It is relevant to renovation. So for some facility already running for a long period of time, and then there's new refurbishing need to come up. And that is different to the pure design projects, also different to the operation projects. So I think we use this as a representative case study. and to come up with different use cases that are relevant to these case projects. So we're going to work on this one. And then moving to the specific work packages, please, Jordan, remind me which slide that you need to step in. I couldn't.
It was the one before the name.
Oh,
okay, you
already missed it.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm sorry, Jordan. So we need to more rehearsal. Okay. And then the work package, we started with requirement analysis. This is quite standard work packages. Within this one, it is about the scope definition. We need to define and focused concept that we need to do in the immersed tunnel. So beginning with the review of the existing standards, especially for our IFC tunnel project. We have been talking to Michelle quite closely. At the beginning, Michelle is the project manager for the IFC tunnel project. We were trying to have some gap analysis to actually do some mappings to understand what are those concepts already defined in IFC tunnel, especially for a geotechnical perspectives, one of the focus area in IFC tunnel. But on top of that, immersed tunnel is quite different compared to the existing IFC tunnel projects, according to our engineers from CCCC and also from Roy Heskening. So we need to define those very specific concepts out of these different user cases. So we start with overarching architecture design, and then we need to move to the IFC core schema development, because there are many new concepts coming up which hadn't been done before. And then we need to do the mapping analysis of tunnel, IFC tunnel projects to understand the requirement, understand the, go through those recordings and also ongoing work outputs. That is quite intensive work that's already ongoing for the IFC tunnel. So that the beginning stage is quite critical. And then those scope that we have been able to choose different types of the tunnel types and sequence structures. Those are coming from CCCC, and with that case project 1, Zhuhai Macau immersed tunnel. So we have to select different types of immersed tunnel. I think Liu Xi will step in at this stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that, in the next slides, we will present you how we develop the FC standards. Because our ultimate goal is to develop a unified data model for immersed tunnel structures. So our first step is to analyze the whole process of an immersed tunnel, whole life cycle. And now our first entry point is to analyze the whole design process, because the design is the start point for immersed tunnel engineering, and also analyze the process map is the starting point for developing the FC standard. So in that picture is we map the first level of immersed tunnel design from the geotechnical surveying and eventually to the design reports execution. Okay, can we go next? And by exploding the design process, every node, we list them as a use case. And every use case is really important for us, because our data model, properties, type, classifications, and relationships will be extracted from each of the use cases. So they're really important for us, and that's the starting point. So now we have 11 use cases from the immersed tunnel design. And we analyze the priority and the complexity to the use cases. And the high priority and the complexity one will be our pilot use case for developing the FC standard. And also from that use case, we can
we can observe that immersed tunnel is kind of a totally different one from the tunnel, because immersed tunnel is to be simple is it's a structure that's under the sea, but the tunnel is a structure running through the mountain. So immersed tunnel is more like we deal with the sea, deal with the water pressures. So that how set the immersed tunnel apart from the normal tunnel. But indeed, there will be some common parts from immersed tunnel and to the tunnel. So there should be some cross-domain collaborations. So we can talk deep later for more detailed informations. And once we have the 11 use cases, we summarize there are 4 use cases we think really important for us. For example, we have the joint design for immersed tunnel and waterproof design, and the funnel joint design, as well as some segment outfitting design, which are really important to immersed tunnel and their specialty for immersed tunnel design. Okay. What is this?
Yeah, this is for the existing IFC tunnel.
Yes. So we make a roughly simple comparison from immersed tunnel to the normal tunnel. And once we have this, we're gonna know which is the common parts to FC tunnel, so we can collaborate, and which is the unique and specialty part for immersed tunnel. For example, as I said, there are some joint design because immersed tunnel is a segment by segment and driving down to the sea. So we have to connect the segment really tight, otherwise the water, will be run through. So the joint design, outfitting design, and etc. There are really lots of things that are really special for immersed tunnel.
Yeah.
So we have to develop some special FC classes for the immersed tunnel domain.
Yeah, to add on top of that, so requirement analysis has now been finalized. Yeah, and also we move to the work package 2 to actually to do the actual analysis between this immersed tunnel and normal tunnel. So there will be a report coming out of it, and I expect there will be several rounds of reviewing across different domains, including infrastructure domain and maritime domain.
Okay, thank you, Haja. Here is some deep descriptions about our use cases, and this one is it's an exchange scenario from structural design for joints and facility design. And why is important? Because the joint design and other load-bearing systems are important for immersed tunnel, so we make it as a high priority. So from this, we have another level of this use cases design process, and we extract some objects, properties from this scenario. I think we can.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a similar use case.
So the different type, we have identified 4 or 5 specific requirements case for the immersed tunnel. So those are the detailed explanation. For each of those, we need to find out the purpose, why this is required, and then how we're going to do it, and also why this is specific to the immersed tunnel. Those are the technical details along with those process map, and also the preliminary classifications of different concepts. They already put it here. So the last time was number 7. We use IMMTD. It's quite long, actually, for the short of these use cases. We were discussing yesterday whether this is appropriate. It's immersed tunnel design that's representing. Maybe from the experienced people here, so you can suggest that with some better short names for those use cases. Please do go ahead to represent those. And we have number 9 here. So as you can see, those are the quite specific for the immersed tunnel. Again, we follow the same patterns. We need to consider specific aspect for those. For example, key consideration for FC station. These will give us the specific property definitions. and later to develop it into a process map. One of those key area that we need to think about for the immersed tunnel is the ceiling perspectives for the joint. So for that, as you can see, we are developing quite rich concept to linking the different parts together. Those were pre-made by using concrete. Yeah. So in between, there are different type of ceiling materials, very specialized. Those linking to the materials types that also need to be defined, and also need to be defined together alongside with those parts. It's quite complicated use cases. Yeah. So and that is the spatial structure breakdown for FC.
Yeah.
Do you see?
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
yeah.
I can continue. So once we have the first version of user case requirement analysis, which means we have a deep and clear understanding and a good picture about the immersed tunnel in design phase. And upon that, we can go to the next phase, which is to develop the unified data structure for FC. So first one is the data relationship, which is really important for FC. And there are two types of relationships. One is the spatial structure relationship. Another one is the functional structure relationship. And we start from the spatial structure relationship first. There will be four systems that we can implement to the FC immersed tunnel. First is overall system, and we have tunnel segments, segment joints, and there will be some internal spaces. So for a better understanding, the immersed tunnel is something like this one. This is the main structure about the immersed tunnel, but there will be more special elements in the joints, outfitting, and overfill as an overall structure. But just for the main structure, we have the spatial relationship analysis from FC project sites, which is pretty common for every FC object. And then we will have the tunnel facility and tunnel segments.
Yeah, so as you can see, those are different levels of information, different levels of descriptions. We're starting with the project, and then we have size, we have facility part, and the different sessions. So for the picture on the right, there are some examples showing here. You can see the tunnel section B, tunnel section A. So for each section, you have subsections, they call segment. So all the different segments or different sessions, they need to be properly presented. And for each level, you are going to define those properties. So those are the print language. There isn't any IFC concept defined together with it. If we move forward, and those are the specific tunnel properties that defined, and those are the actually conclusion for all those concepts that we defined there at different level information required for different subsessions. And then we go further to align with IFC concept on top of these plain languages. So those are the concepts that we have been developing. So it's progressing quite nicely, smoothly, alongside with our engineers who are developing this. So we move forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we go to the previous one? Okay. That's basically all the requirement analysis and unified data structure development part for our team. But I want to just bring a question that because currently our perspective is focused on the design. So every type, classifications, relationships are from design perspective. However, I believe that in construction or in procurement, maintenance phase, the perspective from that point will be kind of perhaps different from how we see the structure from design perspective. So maybe the type classifications and relationships will be changed. So we also welcome our professional audiences to give us some input, some comments, ideas to make the structure more unified that can be used in the whole life cycle, not only the design. Okay, that's maybe a question or a thing that we want to tackle. Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
ask for the help. Yeah, okay. Okay, so those are requirement analysis report has been drafted at current stage, version 1. So pretty soon this will be concluded and published for the review. And we're also talking about some potential working together with BEAM and GIS working group. We have been closely engaged with that working groups. So they are asking for different stories from different domains where they feel there is a link between BEAM element and GIS element, then putting those two elements together into new different type of use cases. I think we have been talking to them, linking to those different 4 points that different between BEAM and GIS. So we're talking about locations, we're talking about alignments, geometry, and also topology. Have I mentioned that? So those are 4 different points. They have different representations within BEAM and GIS software. So for those points, we're trying to work out what are those specific application areas that we can produce. So this is we call new use case. It's focused on this BEAM and GIS integration. Just marine gasket design and validation using BEAM and GIS hydrodynamic integration scenario. So within the BEAM and GIS working group, they are proposing more than 10, I think, or 20 different use cases, using that as a baseline to map with other domains use cases to find out the similarities. So this is the first one that we are try to map different elements between BEAM and GIS and try to put that together in defining a new use cases that can be applied into this immersed tunnel project and potentially could be into our new port and waterway project as well. So with that defined, and we also come up with workflow to indicate how these BEAM and GIS use cases can be actually applied into the use cases and together with these live projects. So those are the other different types of use case stories that we're providing to BEAM and GIS group. So actually yesterday I attended their pre-session meetings and to discuss those potential linking, very constructive. So tomorrow we are going to explore more with their sessions. That's BEAM GIS group. And to the very end, we're talking about for more participation. Before we move to this stage, any of our colleagues, do you have any further comments, add-ons for our slides?
No,
No?
I think we've covered
Okay, thank you, everyone. So we move to the final stage. That is a call for participation survey. As you can see, there's tag there. You can scan, and this will be published on site in buildingSMART website. So we're calling for more partners to join us. So please do so. And those are the documents that we need a project contribution, in-kind contribution, or alongside with other contributions. So if you're interested, contact to our project team directly. Yeah, so our partner, Roy Huskin, already approached out to talk to some other potential parties, and from the audience here, and also from the audience online. So we call for more participation. So finally, we move to discussion. So any questions, we can keep on discussing here. We get 20 minutes left. So, yeah. maybe leave to you, Yushen. You can.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Hello, I was thinking the question that you raised, that how to maybe change the model for the asset management phase compared to the design or the construction phase. And I think that's the very essential question, and that has been kind of have been under conversation many times. And I fully kind of support that we should, as a community, find some answer how to change the information. And I was even thinking that, is it realistic to have the kind of the same data sets that supports all of these future maybe demands, or should there be kind of the data sets delivery or handover for construction phase, and then kind of the separate type of delivery for the asset management phase? Or is it possible to kind of switch how you want to maybe do the breakdown structure for the model automatically in the different ways, so that it supports the asset management phase? So it's really good question, and should be think through as a community.
Yeah, thank you, Tina. Maybe I can start, and our colleagues can follow. I think this is really a good question. It's a very deep technical question. For the same set of properties, definition go through all different stages. I think it's quite challenging. We are trying those different approach. To its simplicity, you can define the different sets of those properties, but in one go, put into the design, but reserve those property sets, leave for the construction and operation stage. But to do that, then the concept will become bigger than it need to be. So, or you can have different status for the same concept, but different stage you have different meanings. That technically becoming a bit complex, but still, overall speaking, it is very challenging, like Tina suggested. And if we have some experience already developed across our community, so we have new projects, it would be great that we can learn from those existing example and apply it into, and also that could be linking to the definition about working together between the FC core and BSDD. Maybe different stages we can leave to different BSDD to do it, which is not entirely clear for us. Yeah, so that's a very good question. Maybe our colleagues can add something.
Yeah, I think it's a real good challenge or a question that you raise. And the challenge, I think, is that our community, you say we need to find a solution, but I'm really wondering if we have the right composition of the community as it is right now. I think we are here mainly with consultants, designers, contracting companies, universities. But if we are talking asset management, I think it's really up to the asset owners to step in and to see how we can make that transfer. I'm not sure if we have sufficient asset owners in our current community to really talk about this. And what my experience is that we are really building up a lot of data around new assets, or even for renovation projects, we're building up that same data. But asset owners, during the lifetime of an asset, whether it's a tunnel or a bridge or a quay or a quay-wall or whatever, they have complete different focus and different questions on the data that they need for their operations, not necessarily included in whatever BIM model we deliver. So I think there's some kind of interface that we still need to understand. How can we develop the data, or create a subset of data out of the BIM model, maybe out of the as-built work into an asset management phase. So yeah, long story, but I think the baseline is we need probably other people to talk to, then decide it within our own little community here.
Can I respond to that? This is on. There's been a project called Asset Operations Handover, which was originally developed within the building domain, and then we, as the infrastructure domain, responded to it and added. We went through a lot of processes to develop user requirements for an understanding of user requirements for the infrastructure space, with a view to then feed into that exercise. And then it was taken back by buildingSMART International and has been, they're redeveloping that project plan over the last year and a half, I guess. It's been a really long, drawn-out process, and I'm increasingly frustrated as an individual that it's an issue that's important to all of us. You're important, and yet we're struggling to get the project moving forward. And it's actually a good example of where the in my view, where the BSI process falls down a little bit, because it needs funding in order to move forward. But the stakeholders in this room, next door in infrastructure, next door again in building, are focused on their concerns. And it's really hard to get stakeholder funding across all of those domains. And so it's an issue that we really need to all get together and say, hang on, guys, we need to address this, because, as I say, it's been going on for years, and we don't have the project off the ground. But it obviously, I'm not capable of finding an answer to the question, but I suspect that the question exists within the domain of that project. And so it's a good example of a cross-disciplinary project, cross-domain project that needs to be supported by all of us. Yeah. And I don't know how we kind of do that, because we don't talk to each other enough.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. But I think this is also maybe something we can bring up to buildingSMART full organization, because you're right. This is a cross-domain issue that is maybe going beyond our focus. Yeah. Thanks.
Can I ask another question? Not unless is there any more on that? Because I want to take us in a slightly different direction.
Only to emphasise that I personally am well aware of the work that you did on that.
Yeah.
On that, and
well,
yeah,
you're involved.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Going to Tina's point, I struggled to see how we could make. The difference between an asset information model and a project information model, and if asset management want to change a spatial breakdown, that becomes. My brain can't even wrap around how you would get that to work. But in terms of the properties required and the elements, I think all that is thought about and is there. It's just a mechanism to make it more suitable for the asset operator in terms of they will almost certainly envisage a different spatial breakdown, is my experience, when it moves into operation. So that's something that I don't think the BSDD can help us with. But it probably goes beyond the scope of what we're looking at the minute, I think.
Yeah, Tina, you can continue, yeah.
Yes, I have been thinking kind of the same way, the use of BSDD in somehow, and I'm thinking also the classification is in many cases different during the construction phase and in the asset management phase, and maybe even with the attaching two different classification to one object could be at least one way to move forward, even though it's not the final solution, but at least to test or think of that type of approach as well, because you have maybe in asset register already the existing classification for different objects.
And also, I think methodology-wise, we are now this time have different user cases. We do have some operation stage user cases. So while we trying to define the operation stage user cases, to begin with, we might need to think about how the information originally come from. If from design stage, we can think about further how to do a better job in the design stage to define for the operation. If it can be defined there, and then later on in the operation stage, we can borrow this concept directly and come up with a better, properly defined operation stage use cases. I think this is a maybe beginning stage for us to try to do design, operation, and a construction phase separately. And after that, we might be able to step in to come up with some across stages definitions that can be smartly embedded into the different concepts, and then linking to different technologies, BSDD, or even some mappings and the level of the information need, level of definitions. Hopefully that we can gradually, step by step, to sort this out. Yeah. Okay, so that maybe close the first question then.
It probably closes the question. I can't help thinking, though, that at the end of the day, we're talking about objects, and the spatial structure is about locating those objects. And the way you locate them in the operational phase may be just a GPS coordinate. It may just be a location. So that may solve the problem. But I'm maybe totally naive. I wanted to go to another question, if I may. You talked about refurbishing a tunnel, and I couldn't help thinking, and that that's actually, that issue, as you said, applies to all tunnels, and to have it embedded in the immersed tunnel project sounds sort of out of place a little bit to me. I don't know where else it might sit, because the tunnel project per se is now complete. But it's an interesting kind of one of your use cases. It doesn't actually care whether it's in an immersed tunnel or an underground tunnel or anywhere else, in fact. I guess it has to be in a tunnel. So I was just wondering, whether you had any thoughts about that, or how that should be handled going forward. And maybe there is no answer to that. Maybe it just has to stay where you're proposing it.
I mean, with IFC 4.3, the common schema work came along significantly through the IFC bridge and IFC ports and waterways and picked up those common elements. So maybe there's a case for another package of work like that. I don't know. So it would seem to be one solution anyway.
Yes, linking this IFC common schema development. I think I'm still thinking that's quite good in terms of linking different domains together. So now we have centralized projects, and we have projects scattered among different domains. It seems we're lacking actually that sort of a way of working. So perhaps, I think Jim just mentioned this renovation use cases seems not just for the immersed tunnel, maybe that universal to any other use case across other domains. But I think we still need a starting point. Maybe you can start with the immersed tunnel, and then we can reach out, to develop some common use cases, perhaps, if there are some existing concepts already existing. But if not, we can develop this as a universal use cases to talk to other domains to actually start the journey, to work together. But at the moment, it is immersed tunnel use cases. So please, Jim and Tina, yeah.
Having managed the common schema project all those years ago, maybe it's something I could be interested in, but I don't know whether that's appropriate. Just one other comment. I'm very aware that BSI is now developing a new project or IFC development, schema development process, which is drawing on the expertise of the central technical team and discouraging the use of internal, project-based technical teams. And so we just need to be conscious of that as we move forward, how we respond to that change in focus. I don't think it affects necessarily what you are talking about in your process steps, but we need to be aware of that and make sure we negotiate that appropriately with the BSI technical team.
Yeah, Jimmy, you're talking about ISC, is it? ISC.
Now, IFC, yes. My understanding is that all technical implementation, schema development, if you like, for IFC is to be handled and managed through the buildingSMART technical team.
Okay.
And that was one of the frictions that developed over the tunnel project, because in the tunnel project, we had our own technical team, which became unhappiness working across those two domains. And so going forward, Richard Kelly was pushing to the idea that at a domain level, we should be developing, this is putting it very simplistically, we should develop the user requirements and then ask them to do the schema development where it's needed. Now, I'm not sure how that applies to the BSTD, because I'm not sure you need special technical expertise to make those connections, but we just need to be aware of that.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
Yes, I got my own mic. No, yet. Yeah. But I was just thinking when you have the survey now and then the old time we use the expert panels to gather the more wide commenting from different maybe industry areas. So I was thinking that have you been thinking of the expert panels again, because that could be one solution to maybe call for experts from other domains to join, because I really liked what you said, that maybe emerged tunnels is again that you need to start somewhere, but then when you see these wider maybe areas or wider topics, then this maybe through expert panels we might get a much wider commenting.
Yeah. Thank you, Tina. I think this is definitely approach that we would like to go for, international expert panel. So that is our first layer of those resources, including academia, including industry partners. So we definitely would like to try this layer. And then come to our smaller layer that's within our buildingSMART community. We have different domains, but we have many experts working working before in the similar cases. We also try to come up with a second layer, which is more condensed expert panel. That will certainly linking to the across different domains. I think especially between the infrastructure domain and this domain, there's a need for close, even closer connections in terms of delivering the different projects. So we were delivering this IFC port and harbor in the IFC infrastructure domain. So there are many experts there in that domain that's already completed some similar type of project. Those experience, especially for those domain knowledge that can be leveraged to facilitate the project delivery for this stage. I think in terms of specific or tangible activities, perhaps the next stage, we can formalize this sort of formal collaborations between the two infrastructure domains, and then formalize the expert panel with those interested experts, and then to have these two layers of experts support alongside with the core technical team together. So hopefully, I think if there are some other resources we could leverage, so we put all of this together, to deliver these projects. So we have quite a lot of new ideas, new scenarios, new technologies. We're talking about AI this time. So these need to be supported by many different type of experts to make it happen. Yeah. Rena, have anything else to add for this part?
No, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. I think we also have other audience here. Maybe I think some of familiar faces. I think we've been seeing you from our former summits. Maybe some friends from Japan, some other countries in Asia, or other places. Maybe you can add some your interest, your thoughts, if you want to raise any questions. So please go ahead. Okay. Okay. So I think there's no more questions. So thank you again for everyone to come to join this session, and thank you for all your support, and Tina and Jim, so for all those questions. And let's close this session, and then we can start to continue to talk after this session. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for attending today, and we're looking forward to see you in the other sessions of the summit. Bye.